Hello again. Earlier today I did a covering pour over a jar, my first attempt at coating a jar. This was my experiment as to whether or not I could put transfers on the dried jar and then use a mix of Floetrol and paint over that to see if, once it dried, if any of the fish showed through, which, to be honest, looking at it, I don't think is going to happen, but it's still a very pretty jar. I'm pleased with it. But I had some leftover paint and I added a few bits of this and bits of that to it, and I've decided to do a flip cup pour again, which I haven't done for a while. There is some silicone included in this mix, so I'm going to turn my canvas up. It's a 20 centimetre by 30 centimetre canvas, and I'm going to flip it up on one end. Oh, this is fun. There we go. Put my hand down hard on it and flip it up. Oh, one of my legs broke. Let's put it back into place. Let's up. Two of my legs broke. Ah, what a dag. There's another leg. They're just bits of foam that I've stuck on with double-sided stickers, because the push pins that I use, the large ones, unfortunately they are tending to push through right through to the canvas, because the sides of these little cheap canvases I buy are very thin. Right, well, I had to change the battery in the camera, so this has now had plenty of time on the canvas, and I will bring it towards me and let it up. Like so. The cup looks rather pretty. I think again I've probably overdone it with the dimethicone, but it will be interesting to see what comes from this. So I'm going to tilt it as I usually do, move the paint around the canvas. You may have noticed I'm not ready for the paint to go over the sides yet. I haven't got a lot of it. I am going to get my corner catcher because, as I said, I haven't got a lot of paint here. A little bit has gone down the sides already, but before I do anything else, I want to give it a torch. There are a lot of air bubbles and I want to see what the dimethicone does. Wow, that's the first time I can remember doing that. It was a little pop here, and I think I might actually have got too close and burnt the paint. But I think I've got most of the bubbles, so I will now start using my corner catcher, and I will start with this corner and completely cover the canvas. Leggies are all falling off on my little experiment, so I am just going to take two and get some little pots for my canvas to sit on as I deal with it. That was another little experiment that hasn't worked for me, but I had to try it. So I will need to use little pots in the future now for my for resting these little canvases on. So I'll just pop that down And these are my cups that I've used in the past, so I'll pop them into place as I lift up the canvas so I have somewhere to put it back down again. Bit of a shame because I was hoping to get a few drippings, of course, for doing cabochons. I still will, but when you've got pots down there that are taking up so much of the canvas, it's a little bit more difficult to get the sorts of drippings that you want. That's it. Okay, so I need to use the corner catcher now on the opposite corner. I will take the paint down this way. Paint I used earlier, of course, had Floetrol that was not mixed in properly. It was an experiment I was doing. So I have got now small patches where the Floetrol is quite clear there, I'm assuming with the dimethicone as well. So I'm just going to use what's left in my cup and pour it down onto those areas just to cover them up. Right, I'm pretty sure that's all of them. So I will now tip again, just to tip that over. Take the silicone with it, of which, yes, I felt that might happen. I had a little bit too much of it. So I need to pour that off. I am very happy with the outcome of this so far. I think it's probably the closest I have got to the what we call in New Zealand paua shell, what is called internationally abalone colours. So that is far beyond my expectations. Of course, because I have all sorts of weird and wonderful things going on in that paint, my expectations for it drying looking like this are low. So all I can do is hope. But right now I'm going to give it another torch just to clear the rest of the air bubbles. And that's it done. Oh my goodness, so pleased with that. Just love the swirliness of it, just love the colours are really beautiful. So I'm going to leave that as it is now, and I'm going to move the painting away after I have taken some close-ups of it, so that I can see if there are any drippings that I can use for dipping cabochons. So I've got a few drippings there. There's not much, but it's in the colours that I like, so I'm going to try. I've got 4 cabochons here that I want to do. The first one is a picture of a dolphin, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's carrying a rose in its, I think it's called a dolphin beak, and underneath is written the word in red, love. So I would like to put that, give that a C-type paint background. I think I'll choose the dark. I absolutely love the dark colours, but with a swirl or a streak through it, as though the dolphin's moving. So I'm going to come up and put it up in here. It's not as stand out as I had hoped, but it is pretty. I don't know how well you can see that in the light, and of course I can't get it too close or it blurs, but that's not too bad. I'll see how it dries. And my next one is of the head of a unicorn. I don't know how well you can see it, but she has got a tiny little horn sticking out the top of her head there, and she's got such pretty pink and purple hair. I thought she might look cute with a blue background. There we are, with a little bit of white at the top right there. That's quite sweet. We'll just have to see how it dries. I keep saying that about the drying because so often they look really, really pretty when I get them onto the cabochon, get the paint onto the cabochon, but when it dries, it's just lost its sparkle, its specialness. So I might like it at the time when I dip it, but when I go and look at it when it's dry, if it's not as I hoped, then it goes into a tub of water and gets washed off. So my next one is another dolphin. This time a dolphin with music playing around it. So I call it my dancing dolphin. And I want to give that a nice sea-type background as well. So I'm going to pop it down here. I'll turn it around a little. Wow, I love that. That is just beautiful. The music is so pretty and it looks like the dolphin is having the time of its life. And my last one is of an octopus and a seahorse, and I call them tag teaming. They are playing together. The octopus looks like it's trying to get away from the seahorse, so again another nice sea background for that one. Okay, over here. I love the colours, but my poor octopus has got a little bit lost in the blues, but it's still very sweet, and the colours behind look as though there's a lot of swirling water going on, which is kind of the idea I wanted. So we'll see how that dries. Oh, it's going to drip. There we go. Well, that's me finished for the day now. So thank you very much again for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.